Hey all, how's it going? It's Simone here. I'm in Nashville this week. It's beautiful and kind of hot, so excuse the sunnies, but I don't want to be squinting at you guys. And out here to listen to some great music this week and enjoy a conference and meet up with a lot of cool and powerful women business owners. And we're going to get to do some great comparing of notes here. But I've been kind of missing in action because I've been doing so much stuff is going on. And, well, there's always new stuff to talk about, right? So I have some really great stuff at the moment, and I've been doing some refocusing on, well, boys, you might not like this, but we're going to focus on the women because there's a lot more that we can do. So, hey, Brian, this might be the wrong broadcast for you, but I'm glad you're here because you can help us take this to the next level too. So I was leading a mastermind retreat for my mastermind a couple of weeks ago. And one thing we noticed is that there's a lot more we can do and we just don't do it. So what's the deal about that? Because for women in business to really own it and step into the power they have would be a really great thing for this world, because there are a lot of us, and I don't think we really pay attention to what the stuff is that we need to do to change our own reality. So one thing that we noticed at that retreat weekend is that one thing that really takes it to the next level is having community and getting accountability in that community, because there's so much stuff that we can do, and everybody has tons of different strategies, but it's all about the mindset behind the strategies, right? Because face it, their strategies are a dime a dozen. Everybody knows what to do in theory, but then it's all about, like, how do you actually get this stuff done? And when you have a group of people holding you accountable and going, hey, why haven't you done this? It gets a lot more real suddenly. So a lot less talk, a lot more action is one of the first steps to really do this. And of course, you have to decide on the right strategies. And that's another reason to have a powerful community, because you can brainstorm, you can help each other out with strategies, and also just kind of go, hey, this is not working, or why are you doing this? It's a really good idea to have people you can bounce stuff off of. And if you don't have a community, get a mentor. That's also a really, really big step. So one of the things we noticed in that mastermind, though, is that for women to really start claiming what they're worth, the first step is really believing that you are. And one of the big things I've noticed over time, I've been in this space for a long time, and a lot of times at the lower level, there are a lot more women in the community, in the groups, but then the higher it goes, a lot more guys are there. And that's kind of interesting to me. When you keep looking around, that seems to be the common theme. It's like the more value there is, the more money people are making, the more guys are in the group and the fewer women are. So what's the deal with that? So I would encourage everybody to really look at that. It's like, men, what can you do to get your women cohorts to step it up too? And women, what's the deal? Step it up, come up, believe that you can do it, that you're worth it, that you can really also own making a difference, right? And getting really paid for it, getting paid really well. So and that whole thing is about owning your value, really understanding the results that you're bringing your clients, the difference that you're making in their lives and in their businesses, really understanding that all your strategies are super valuable and worth it to them. And then you can notice that your clients are really owning it and rocking it. So really understanding your value and then translating that into money. And I think a lot of times this is where a lot of women, big train going by, a lot of women have a hard time. So let's make sure that you really understand what value are you bringing to your clients and the great results they're achieving from working with you. And this is the roundabout theory behind high ticket offers, right? Value is such a completely arbitrary thing. You can have the same thing go for $5 that goes somewhere else for 5,000. And what makes the difference? It's just what you believe is worth it. So we have to get kind of precocious, kind of audacious, and go, okay, what I got is really worth it. When I really look around what it does for people, what are those results worth it, right? So think in results. And then the other thing is about claiming your confidence. And that's the only reason why you wouldn't come up with some crazy ass price tickets, because you don't have the confidence to believe that that's actually worth it. So start really playing with that idea. What do you have that where you're undercharging? And here's one of the truths about undercharging. You're actually not serving your clients. I get a lot of resistance with my women clients in particular who are going, oh, I want to make sure that what I have, that it's affordable for more people than just, the high-end people. I want to serve my community. I want to make sure that it reaches more people. And that's great, and we want that. But you can look at it in several different ways. For one, if you don't believe that they can afford it, you're holding them small. Because affordability is a complete theory, right? It's like you see a lot of people claiming they can't afford something that would be incredibly valuable for their business, for their life, but they have no problem giving out $4 a day to Starbucks for their latte. So it's all about where do you set your priorities, right? And that is a big deal. Wow, this is really a city now. There's a big motorcycle. So that was the whole affordability thing, right? So think about that. Where are you shorting yourself where you could really make a difference for your clients when you're actually holding them in a bigger way, in a bigger space, and allow them to come up with the funds that would help them get the results. And then a total truth around that too is like the more your clients pay, the more they value what they're getting, and the more they show up. So you actually get clients who show up, who do the work and get the great results, and then you also have more stuff to brag about because you have more clients who get great results. So think about that. And you get the right clients. They're fun to work with. They're engaged. They're having a good time. They see the results that they're getting, and they're telling other people about it. So that takes care of your marketing channel too, because suddenly more and more people know about you. And I think another thing that's also very women specific is like, stop being nice. This is not about being nice. This is about being business. It's about being accountable, speaking the truth, and getting stuff done. So when you notice that being nice is actually an excuse to hide, I know this might push some buttons, but think about where that's true. All right, so let's talk about the money a little bit more. So I look around my community and I'm still seeing that a lot of my clients struggle with asking for the money because they believe that maybe they're not worth it. They are not thinking highly enough of themselves. But there's also still that piece that I already mentioned, that they don't believe they should charge as much as they could. So when you just go into the theory of women are still making a lot less money. What the fuck? Seriously? It's 2017 and we're still having this conversation? And now girls, and I know some women don't like to be called girls, but I think it's kind of fun. Just think about this. It's like, what's your side of it? What's your responsibility of it, right? The responsibility that I believe we have is not taking less. And that whole thing is around having the confidence to demand what you're worth. And you just need to get certain around what you got, what you can do for people, and have standards. It's really, really hugely around having standards. You only want to work with the ones who really love you and really love your stuff and want to show up for it. And the rest of them, they're not your right clients, right? So you have to have the right standards. And at this time, it's really our job to cultivate certainty. When you really think about what could take your business to the next level so you can get to those 6-7 figures or whatever it is you're going for, the only difference in the person who's making it and the person who's not making it a lot of times is certainty. I'm still remembering one of my first careers as a real estate agent. There was this guy up in the same area where I was working, and he was pissing me off so bad because he was just claiming all sorts of stuff that I knew wasn't necessarily true, but he was just claiming it. And guess who was getting the clients? He was. Guess who was making the money? He was. And it wasn't his fault, it was mine, because I wasn't claiming what I knew I could do, and I was also not just making audacious statements because I knew I couldn't back it up 100%, but sometimes you have to be willing not to do that and still be in integrity. So that's a little bit about client education here. But so it's our job to really start cultivating certainty. And what can you do to do that? Actually, there are a lot of physical things that you can do that help with that. Because in your mind, in your mindset, if there's stuff going on that keeps you from believing that, you can't solve the problem with the same system that created it, right? So if consciously and subconsciously you believe that you don't have that certainty, you can't make those statements, changing your physical reality actually makes a big difference, because it triggers the same things as certainty. So I'm sure you guys have heard of this power stance thing, right? So think about power stance, hands on your hip, center yourself, spread your feet so you have a really solid stance, and stand like that. And you can do that in front of a room of people. You can do that anytime. It doesn't look funny. Just absorb what comes when you change the way your body is. So change your body first. Also having a mantra. Having a mantra that really helps you snap back out of when you're not believing in yourself. And that's kind of a trigger point for you to go, oh, I am back on that road that's not really serving me. So which road would I rather be on, right? So come up with a mantra that isn't too crazy. You have to believe it. And that's really important with affirmations, mantras, all that kind of stuff. You actually have to believe it. So come up with a mantra where you have enough evidence in your past that you can believe what you're saying, and then say it with a lot of conviction. That's another thing that doesn't work with mantras and affirmations. If you just rattle it off because it's the thing you are used to saying, but think about what can happen when you actually feel it, you hear it, you feel what it's like when you're in that space, and really give yourself that gift of having a mantra that helps with your trigger points. And then anytime you're starting to go into uncertainty, reverse. And you have to catch yourself early. It's kind of like, you know, the freight train before it gets moving too quickly. You have to stop it and reverse direction. And so that means you have to really step into consciousness around this. So step into consciousness, notice where you're starting to kind of flail and where you're going down the wrong road, and interrupt yourself and go consciously into a different direction. Because here's the deal, you already have the power. You have the power to do everything you want. You have the power to have a 6, 7, 8-figure business. You probably even have the strategies. You just have to own it. So this is my new mantra, and I'm just seeing how many women business owners I can help to really step up in their business and then become leaders in their community and become leaders in their space. And that's what we need. That's really what we need to change this reality. So I'm on a little bit of a bandwagon here, and you're going to hear more about that in the coming weeks. But I've been seeing it in my group, what the huge difference is when you come together as like-minded people, and in this case, like-minded business women who are all going for the same goal, which is getting rich. And you know, you can interpret rich many different ways here, and having that life that they really want and being very powerful in it. So ladies, this is what I got for today. If you like this video and you want to see more like it, there's a lot of stuff going on in our Facebook group, The Art of Scaling to 7 Figures, so join us there. Or if you want to speak to me personally At this moment, I still make available a few free sessions here and there, and you can apply for those. You can go to 7figureceo.com/apply, all one word, all spelled out, 7figureceo.com/apply, and you can apply for a session with me there. So anyway, hope you guys are having a great time. I'm going to go see some amazing music the rest of the day and the rest of the weekend and enjoy the beautiful, humid, hot weather in Nashville, and I will see you next week.